part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Main Event Podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I am one of your hosts, Danny.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Chuck.
And we're excited to talk about some wrestling today. We are going to deviate a little bit from our normal flow, where we just kind of recap the last week of wrestling because we were not able to record last week due to some, busy life things. And so we are currently waiting for the Royal Rumble to start here in about 2.5 hours. The pre-show starts here in about an hour and a half, but, main show is going to get kicked off here in about 2.5 hours. So we are going to just talk about some wrestling news, current events. There's a lot that's happened in the wrestling world in the last couple days, and so we're going to give our opinions on those things. And if any of you care to hear them, I suppose you'll keep listening to this episode. So I guess let's get into it. Do we want to save the big one for last?
Yes.
I obviously
I feel like
the suspense.
The suspense.
For the
I mean, I
listeners,
feel like everybody
Very
knows what that is if you pay attention to wrestling. But if you don't, you'll get to hear about that here in a while. So let's talk. What else has happened? The Rock is now officially on the TKO board of directors.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So he is now officially, like, I guess I don't think, are board members owners, or are they just like decision makers?
I think they're just decision
I don't know
makers.
how companies work. Whatever.
Right, we
but
just work for companies.
but yeah,
that's all.
he is
Right.
now on the board at TKO over UFC and WWE. So I think that's pretty cool. I think The Rock has a lot of value to bring to, I mean, at least WWE. I don't really know what he knows or cares about UFC, but
Right.
whatever. So that happened. I don't remember what day, but it was in the last couple days they announced that. It was right before the other thing. Which
other thing.
I'm assuming is maybe what like sparked the other thing from like being a big thing, is because the WWE, like TKO in general, are making some big moves, and I think that they just needed to get rid of the other thing.
Yeah. Can we just refer to him as the other thing for the rest of our lives?
I think that that's appropriate, at least for the rest of this episode,
Yeah.
until he is revealed. He who shall not be named.
Oh,
Right.
But
Lord Voldemort over
not
here.
Yeah.
You know.
He's just as evil.
Maybe he's worse.
Basically, yeah.
I
I
think he
don't
might
know
be
if it's
worse.
like, I don't know if it was just like, as he got older, he just became more and more like senile, because like if you listen to interviews and stuff from like back in the day, like everyone was like, "Oh, Vince is awesome." We're talking about Vince McMahon. I know it is what it is.
Spoiler
I mean, we
alert.
may as well get into it, but I don't know. Like it just seems like as time went on, and maybe they just like were much better at keeping things under wraps back in the day. But,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they were much better at keeping
Yeah.
secrets because there were less places for people to go and tell their secrets.
That's true. Yeah.
It's true. There wasn't a lot of social media back then.
Exactly,
No,
because we're
yeah.
old.
Oh God, we are.
We remember the before times.
I remember. What year did Facebook come out?
2011?
No.
No, it was before
It was
that.
before
like
that.
It
08
was.
maybe.
Well, do you remember when Facebook first came out? You had to be invited. You couldn't just like
Yeah.
sign up.
That's why I stayed on MySpace for a long time.
Yep. Dude, MySpace was wild. I mean, do you remember how you used to be able to go in and like mess with the URL stuff and like
Oh, yeah.
create your
The
own.
coding.
I remember like just like scouring the internet trying to find like the perfect URL, like HTML code for my mind. And I was like, how in the world did we not all end up being like computer hackers?
And I can't even handle a spreadsheet now.
Oh no, not me neither.
Someone tells you to go into Excel and do this. No, I'm okay. I'll pay some kid to do it.
Facebook launched in 2004. I didn't realize that. I thought it was way after that. Facebook, initially titled as thefacebook.com and limited to Harvard students only, launched on February 4th, 2004. And then in 2006, Facebook became open to the general public. But I think you had to be invited. Because I remember I didn't get a Facebook until I was in college. And that was 2009. Wow, Facebook was out for 3 years before I had even heard of it.
Wow. That feels pretty accurate, though.
Well,
Being a little bit behind the times.
I was also in Bible college, so I was a little sheltered. But whatever. We don't need to talk about that. So anyways, back to wrestling. Yeah, so, The Rock is now on the board. There are a lot of predictions about the Royal Rumble and people being in the Rumble, one of which I'm interested to see if it's true. A lot of people think that Hulk Hogan is going to show up.
Boo, hiss, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, that is something that no one needs to see.
Nope, we're good.
I feel like, is he even like physically capable of going over the top rope? He might die if he lands.
I was going to say fingers crossed.
I would think with as much shit as WWE has been through this week, maybe they should steer clear of that.
Maybe. I feel like that would be a good idea.
That would be the smartest decision.
Right.
Yeah, because we don't need more backlash.
No.
Apparently, all of the talent was basically told to like lay low when it comes to all that stuff, and just like basically just like pivot to the Royal Rumble and like don't talk about it. But I mean, which makes sense. Like, you don't need your talent like doing all that. We have SmackDown on in the background and it's muted, so
I'm easily distracted, and
yeah, I'm the same way. Anything AEW wise happening?
There was a promo with Deanna.
Perazzo.
Yeah,
Perezzo.
I'm gonna fuck up her name every time. With her and Tony Storm, and they were like at the top of the entrance ramp, and it was funny to me because Tony's shtick right now is that she's timeless Tony Storm, and every time they do an interview with her or anything like that, she's in black and white. So they had half of the screen in black and white and then half in like color, and I just thought it was funny. Deanna wants to do the title shot, but they've gone back to like number one contender by stats, not by anything else. So we'll see what happens there.
Wait, explain that to me. How do they do it?
They do it by stats, like their ranker and the list. Basically like your win losses kind of thing.
That's how they determine the number one contender?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I guess it makes sense for them to do that because they still have a ton of like
Newer talent.
Newer talent that they can. Yeah, I don't think that would work in WWE because it would only be like two people ever getting a title shot.
Right.
How is the Adam Cole stuff coming along?
Wardlow had a match on Wednesday that the Undisputed Kingdom was standing out in the ring, like by the ring for him with, he had his match with Trent Beretta. Trent had an injured Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, and Orange Cassidy on his side. So, fucking Roddy What's His Nuts wants a title shot at Cassidy's title at the pay-per-view in March.
Is that their next pay-per-view?
Yep. I have to wait all the way until March.
Yeah, that's going to be... What is in March? I don't know if WWE has one in March. They've got Elimination Chamber next month, and then I think it's Mania. Because Mania is at the beginning of April. Or no. Wait, maybe they're doing another Saudi show? Hold on. Maybe that's why AEW is doing theirs in March, because...
That's what they do every 3 months normally.
What's the one where we in Australia?
That's Elimination Chamber.
Where in order for us to watch it, we have to be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be very rough. Let's
I'll watch
see.
the replays. I'm gonna need more of these men to get top lips too, please.
I'm dead.
They have the lips. They just don't have anything on them, so it doesn't look like they have lips.
February 24th is Elimination Chamber, and then it's WrestleMania on April 6th and April 7th. So they don't have one in March at all. Which this is actually really cool. Like Randy Orton music hits, and it's like literally going off air. I'm gonna unmute it. And you're like, oh, they're going off air. Randy Orton is going to be the thing. Nope. BFT, baby. LA Knight goes, not now. Boom. And then it just goes off air. Michael Cole having to pivot just real quick. Or will it be LA Knight?
We don't know. We'll find out
It's
in a couple of hours.
Yeah, for real.
Don't ask Danny how many hours though.
Yeah, because it'll be a different answer every time.
Every time.
I have been watching a lot of the Golden Girls recently.
There's
I love
nothing
that for
wrong
you.
with that.
It's an amazing show.
It really
it's a
is.
great show. Yeah. So, but let's see. Is Edge and Christian Cage still feuding, or is that kind of over? I've heard that Edge has just been like getting thrown a lot of jobbers. Like
Adam Copeland is
oh yeah, that's right. He's
working
not
his
Edge
way
anymore.
back up to that number one contender. So because of them doing it now basically by stats, he went to the bottom of the list and he just has to like work his way back up.
Because he lost?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, because he at the last pay-per-view he won the TBS championship
Immediately
but then
lost it, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then Christian took it back because he took
Kill switches.
Kill Switch's contract.
Do you think that's building to a eventual like face turn for Luchasaurus?
I hope so.
I hope so.
I really hope so.
I mean, I don't think it would happen, but it would be really cool if Jack Perry came back and then they like. Obviously, it's not going to be Jungle Boy anymore because he's just Jack Perry.
Did you see the
But
New
them
Japan
getting
thing?
together again would be really cool, I think.
Yeah, didn't he appear
Yeah,
at
he went to New Japan and like ripped up his contract, and
Yeah.
he looks haggard and needs a little bit of a shaving or a calming down of his beard, but it's fine.
That's funny. So a lot of speculation on who's going to show up in the Rumble. A lot of people are thinking that Sasha Banks could show up. A lot of people are thinking there's a Japanese wrestler that apparently WWE has been going after pretty hardcore. Oh God, it starts with an O, and I don't know. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but I'm going to see if I can find it's spelled out so that I can actually like
Pronounce
maybe
it.
pronounce it. I think it's like Okado or something like that. It's on Patreon. I know that for sure.
Okada.
That might be it.
Oh, the male wrestler?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Um,
Yep, it's Okada. That's his name.
Let me scroll through my text messages with the teenager in my house. Yeah.
Yep, it's Okada.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So this is interesting.
What up?
The Fightful said about 5 hours ago, and I guess if you don't want, this is not going to be out by the time the Royal Rumble airs, so it's not going to matter. But WWE could be working on an off-the-wall surprise for Royal Rumble. Fightful has learned that WWE has reached out to outside companies this past weekend about potentially utilizing their talent for the Royal Rumble. So they could be opening the forbidden door a little bit, like they did with Mickie James.
Well, I think that's as far as their forbidden door can open because
yeah, it's like a one-off appearance at the Rumble, and then that's it. I mean, which makes sense. I mean, you've got your own talent, like you don't need to, but
it's more fun to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see that. A lot of people are wondering if MJF is going to show up, which I doubt it.
Oh, I doubt it.
Doubt he will.
One of my favorite things that AEW does is whenever Adam Page comes out, they always put like funny little things where they would normally put like stats and shit like that. This week his was going through it. They've put him up before saying like worst teacher because he's talked about how he was a teacher before. I'm trying to like scroll through my pictures and find the other ones because I have a whole screenshot collection of them.
They call them the lower thirds, I think is what they're called.
Is that what that's called?
I think so.
All right, look at you.
Or the bottom thirds or something like that because it's like the bottom third of the screen.
Whoa, that's interesting.
I know, right? I hit you with some knowledge.
What'd you say?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I ADHD'd out for a second.
That's impossible. You would never.
What did you say though? I want to hear it.
That the things that they show on the bottom of the screen are called like the lower thirds.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. Is that just like across the board, like broadcast?
I think so.
Yeah. Apparently, the Fatal 4-Way match is going on second tonight.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because they've got to put.
Like it's
they have two matches
one or two
that are
of
going
them
to
are gonna
take
be in the Rumble
a
at
couple
least.
hours.
Yeah.
The women's Rumble is first, and then the Fatal 4-Way, and then Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, and then the men's Royal Rumble. It's a very interesting order to me, unless it changes. Also, they are saying that Jade Cargill will be debuting tonight at the Rumble.
Well, I hope so.
Yep, that's going to be fun.
That would be nice to see.
That's going to be good.
They'll probably put her in at like number 2.
Okada, yeah, that's the guy's name.
Sir.
Is that what you said? Okada?
Yes.
Okada. I was like Okada.
You were zoned in on trying to figure out how to pronounce this man's name.
I heard you guys pronounce it, but then I forgot how you did it. And so I just like, whatever.
Yeah, I think they'll put Jade through it tonight. I think they'll put her in at 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope it's like middle. I hope it's like 15. Because that way, like, we get a good amount of time with her. I hope she ends up being like one of the final people in the match. But I don't know, like, I wouldn't want her to go in at number 1 or 2 because then it's like if she survives the whole time and then gets eliminated towards the end, it's like, oh, that sucks.
Right.
But it's like I don't think she's going to win.
No, I don't think they're going to have her win. All the rumors say that Bailey's going to win,
which I think will be
fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
I think that's going to be a good decision.
I have 100%
no feelings
fine because I think strongly either way with that.
I think a face turn for Bailey would be amazing again.
I agree. I definitely think that she has not been face since she got rid of that hugger,
the hugger thing,
and that's been almost 4 years.
Yeah. Right.
She got rid of that right before COVID.
Yeah, and then she got injured after that too.
Yeah, she was out a long time with an injury, and then her run as champion during COVID was incredible. I mean, I freaking hated her, but like in a good way, you know.
They did their jobs.
Do I?
So they did their jobs in that moment
for sure. Like, I love when a heel is able to like be so good as a heel that like you like them, but like the thing that you like about them is that you hate them so much.
Right.
Like that's some magic right there. That's what MJF had, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And they turned him face, didn't they?
Yes, big
Do
time.
you think that was a mistake?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so because I think that was a chance for them to get the fans behind him because one of the big things with him was that we love to hate him. But I think this gave the fans a chance to actually enjoy the character of him.
Right.
Because he's our scumbag.
Yeah, he was our scumbag. It'd be nice to see what that's like if/when he comes back. So
Yeah. Or like, see how that works out in the WWE.
we'll see.
I don't know. I like I said, I highly, highly doubt.
I don't think that
he's going to show
I don't
up,
think that
but-
they could do a lot with him in WWE right now, though.
You don't think so?
I don't think so because there's a lot of high talent in WWE that they would have to. I mean,
Well, you got to
there's plenty
think.
of storylines that they could go with. I
Yeah.
think, but they already have so many storylines going right now.
If they bring him in, say, there's some earth-shattering thing and he debuts tonight at the Rumble or whatever, let's just say. And my prediction is that Kevin Owens is going over for the United States title. MJF and Kevin Owens as their his first feud, and he comes in as like a kind of upper mid card for like the United States title. That's a great place for him to start. And then he, either loses or beats Kevin or whatever. And then he can kind of build from there because really if you really want MJF in the title picture, like he's a main eventer, then you've only got to wait until after Mania. And that's 2 months.
It's true.
Right.
So they don't have a ton. Like they could debut him now, give him a storyline to run with until like, hey, MJF and Kevin Owens at Mania for the United States title. Something happens and MJF gets screwed out of it or whatever. However they want to do it, they could turn Kevin heel and have MJF play the face or vice versa. However, but once you're past Mania, then you could start building him up because you're going to have either Rollins or whoever beats Rollins for the title, or you're going to have Roman or Cody or whoever as the other champion. And a Cody MJF feud in WWE would be pretty cool.
I think honestly though, I think he's going to take quite a bit of time off.
He should.
Because he was, as they say, he was a fighting champion. Like
Right.
he was every week he was, getting challenged for the championship and he was literally broken. So
Right.
like he needs to take the time off, and I think
Unless his injury angle was a work. But
I mean it could very well be. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Stay tuned.
for real. I am interested to see what kind of surprises hit, though, because, there's always... Well, I will say last year's Royal Rumble, not very many surprises at all. In fact,
That's true.
It was kind of bland.
Yeah.
And so I think that this year... because I think, wasn't it last year was when there was still kind of that power struggle between Triple H and Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And so this year, I think now that Triple H has like full reign, there's going to be some pretty interesting. I think it would be cool if they brought in some like, not that you guys would care about this, but like people like it'd be cool if like Jake Paul or something. You know what I mean? Like, not a lot, but maybe one or two just like kind of influencers show up and get, their ass kicked or whatever and get thrown out. That'd be kind of fun. Like a Johnny Knoxville situation again. Like that was pretty funny.
Drew Carey.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Drew Carey. They had Michael Che and the other guy from SNL. They weren't in the Rumble, but they showed up at, I think it was like a WrestleMania, and Braun Strowman like choke slammed them.
Yeah,
That
I
was
do
pretty-
remember.
Or they
that,
were in a
yeah.
match with Braun Strowman. It was 2 against 1, and they got their asses kicked. That was pretty funny. Colin Jost, that's who it is.
Yeah, that Royal Rumble match got Drew Carey into the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. I'm hoping they. I'm I'm hoping they reveal Bray Wyatt as as a Hall of Fame inductee maybe tonight. I've heard that it could happen as soon as tonight.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I agree. Gross.
Mm-hmm.
That is that one. Let's see what other news we got here. Disputed.
I mean, I guess we could talk about the Vince thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely that's the big story. I'm trying to see if there's any other like news things that have come up. I'm looking at it now. So here's some names that are in Tampa that are not announced for the Rumble. Omos, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Natalya, Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile, The Creeds, JD McDonough, R-Truth. R-Truth had a funny segment.
He was literally on the
picking
screen.
his number.
Well, no, like they just in the graphic from SmackDown last night, they literally showed him. Yeah,
this may have come out before SmackDown. Akira Tozawa, Montez Ford, Chad Gable, Kofi.
Can we talk about him for a second?
Big E is in town.
Can we talk about Tozawa for a second?
Yes.
I feel like he is so underutilized right now.
Absolutely.
So here's my take.
Because he used to be so good.
He is.
In wrestling.
Yes.
And now they're just using him as a gimmick.
But here's the thing. I agree that they really need to use him and show off his talent a lot more. However, what he's doing right now is hilarious, but also before now, he wasn't getting screen time at all.
That's fair.
There were months that you just didn't see him, or he would just wrestle like dark matches. Or he would just be out there as a jobber.
Show up in the back of a promo.
Yeah, and now they're actually giving him, even though it's a comedy, gimmicky storyline, he has a storyline. He's on TV almost every week. He's wrestling almost every week. And he actually won. He beat Ivar the 1 week.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he got the pinfall victory over Ivar. Now then Ivar, after the match, absolutely destroyed him.
Right.
Right.
He got the pinfall victory. And the stuff that he's doing is R-Truth level funny. And it's I find it refreshing that at least they're utilizing him, because I remember with Vince, they tried to utilize him and they had him with his gang of ninjas or whatever, and it was just
I
stupid.
do remember that. Yeah,
it was so dumb. They were always fighting for the 24/7 title, which, by the way, super glad they got rid of that thing.
Right.
But yeah, now I feel like him being a part of the Alpha Academy is just, his little dance that he does is so funny. But apparently Big E is in town. I wonder if Big E's showing up in the Rumble.
I hope so. That would be
I
nice.
mean,
I miss him.
I would hope so, but at the same time, I hope not, just because of his injury. I mean, obviously, it's proven that you can come back from a neck injury with Edge and
Adam Copeland.
Well, he was Edge in WWE whenever he debuted back from his neck injury. So zip it. No, Orton's wasn't a neck injury. His was back, right? I think he had a back injury.
Yeah, Randy Orton had to have a lower back fusion, which I don't know. I think that's still a fairly new thing, if I remember reading it correctly, and so that's why they were unsure if Randy would ever be able to come back, because that's there hasn't been I don't think there's been a ton of wrestlers that have had that surgery for them to know for sure what it's going to be. But Randy seems to be doing okay. You can tell he doesn't take as many bumps. like he's protected, but he seems to be doing well. So let's see. I'm looking here. Yeah, I think that I guess let's get into the Vince thing. So new lawsuit comes out that claims Vince did a whole bunch of weird stuff, and well, I mean, sexually assaulted some people, but then did, I guess, some just real weird things in that, like,
that's an understatement. Yeah.
And then the lawsuit claims that Vince sent the pictures or whatever of one of these encounters to a, quote, former WWE and UFC heavyweight champion who at the time they were trying to re-sign, and then this unnamed person texted the victim asking for like different stuff, and then Vince McMahon texted her and basically said that, like, thanked her for like being a team player essentially, and it's like, you're the reason that he resigned. And of course, like, the only person that fits that description would be Brock Lesnar. And so
Allegedly.
Allegedly, obviously he was not named, but who else in the WWE was a WWE and UFC champion that was trying to be re-signed in 2020? Believe that was Brock Lesnar. I guess, like, up until recently, like, Lesnar was fully, like, booked for the Rumble, and now
and
now it's kind of, they're
all
not
of
sure.
those plans.
Well, I don't think it's been confirmed that it's canceled, but I think there's a strong hint that it's canceled.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, the big story is Slim Jim backing out.
Yes, Slim Jim did pull their sponsorship
And that's
from
a
the event.
huge deal, considering they've been like sponsors and participating for fucking decades.
Have they historically just been a sponsor of the Royal Rumble? Or is it?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember. I don't know. And I'm also wondering if maybe because of all this stuff that's happened, if they are like going to be able to get them back, because like the company like took action to like basically get McMahon out of there once and for all. Because I was reading that a lot of people are calling for Triple H to be fired.
I did see that as well.
Really?
Yes.
And I read someone's like take on it, and they basically said, I think it's important to note that like most people don't realize how much power Vince McMahon had, and had Triple H went like guns a-blazing trying to remove him, he would have been the one to get fired, like,
right.
And Vince McMahon would still be probably in power. And so Triple H kind of had to play the long game, and I think he's been working on trying to get Vince McMahon fully out of the company for a while. And if you look at the results, now he's fully out of the company. It just took, I think it was kind of one of those things where I think Triple H just kind of gave Vince the rope and let him hang himself kind of thing. And he had to just be very careful on how he did it so that he didn't lose his job. And I don't blame him. Like, number one, like, there's the family dynamic because they're family, but then also you've got this dude that's a billionaire and probably has some scary pull in places, and we don't want Triple H ended up, we don't want to see that on the news, like, body of former WWE champion Triple H found in a river, So I think that it's and then also this lawsuit, I don't know if it's the lawsuit itself or it's just like new information that the reason that Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon had such a big falling out was because Shane McMahon was actively trying to stop this behavior with his dad, and like his dad, I guess, would try and get him to like go along with some of it, and he would like in front of all the executives like pretty publicly like call it out, and that caused there to be a big falling out, and that's why he stepped away a couple years ago.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
What if he comes back tonight?
That would be cool. Like, we haven't seen him since WrestleMania when he injured himself within the first like 10 seconds of the match, which that was sad, but also kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't. It was SummerSlam. No. Yeah, it was SummerSlam. Was it SummerSlam or WrestleMania? It's when Snoop Dogg had to take over, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Or am I getting those matches confused?
Well, no, because I'm pretty sure it was Shane hurt himself, and then Snoop Dogg took over and like punched him.
Yeah, because it was the Miz,
and then that was it.
And yeah, it was the Miz and Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac gets injured, and so Snoop Dogg punched the Miz and then did the People's Elbow. And I think that was at SummerSlam. No, that was WrestleMania. WrestleMania was outside last year. That's why I got it confused. Because I think SummerSlam the year before was outside. And so I was getting those two shows confused. Was SummerSlam outside this year too? I don't think it was. I think it was inside.
Hasn't happened yet.
Well, 2023. What I meant. I don't remember. So yeah, I mean, I think that, well, and then so obviously the end of this story is that Vince McMahon has officially resigned from the TKO. Like, he's no longer the executive chairman, and he's resigned from the board of WWE. So he is officially like out. He has no dealings with the company at all anymore. And
Fantastic.
Now
we
that,
love that.
Now that has happened, I don't think there is ever a risk of him coming back ever again.
No.
Because now, like, he can't just decide that he wants to come back anymore. Like, he's got Endeavor that's over top of that whole thing, and they can put the kibosh on that real quick.
He literally has to be rehired by his own company, which is quite hilarious.
Yeah, that's very ironically funny.
You fired.
You fired. And so I'm interested to see who takes over as executive chairman. Wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being The Rock, but who knows? Maybe it's Nick Khan. And then, that would almost leave room for Stephanie to come back if she wanted to, which I think would be great, because Stephanie has been really liked at the company. And she's had quite a few, like, she's been off for a while. I don't know if her leave of absence was ever supposed to be like super permanent, or if it was supposed to be temporary, or what.
See, I thought whenever they brought Vince back, she was like, I'm going to go ahead and quit now.
Well, so she took a leave of absence, and I think it was only like 2 months later that whole thing with Vince happened the first time, and he resigned. And so she came back to like step up as CEO, co-CEO of the company. And then when Vince came back as executive chairman, that's when she was like, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and like reinitiate my leave of absence that I was wanting to take in the first place.
Right.
Because like Nick Khan can handle it. And, my dad is back as executive chairman. So like, I'm not needed anymore. I don't know if there's like, she did it because Vince came back, or if like that was just her opportunity to do it. And I also don't know if it was like supposed to be a permanent thing, or if it has just been like a for now and then I'll eventually be back. I hope she comes back because I really like her. She seems to be cool people. Oh, wait, here we go. What's this say? Yeah, so according to PW Insider, there is optimism within WWE that Vince McMahon's resignation could pave the way for Stephanie McMahon's return. However, it was also noted that the company's internal dynamics have changed since Endeavor took ownership, making it unclear how Stephanie might seamlessly integrate into the current structure. It says there are some in WWE hoping Vince McMahon opens the door for her to return. Although others spoken to cautioned that it's not the same company that existed before, and they're not sure how she would be able to fit back in. But I think that if she does come back, that'd be dope. I like Stephanie a lot. I could see her. I could see her coming in like, let's say Nick Khan, for instance, takes the executive chairman role or whatever. That would then leave Nick Khan's role to like Triple H, or, well, no, no, that's not what I meant to say. Stephanie could then come in and take over Nick Khan's role, and that way Triple H stays as head of creative, because I can't imagine Stephanie over creative.
Right.
That's definitely a Triple H thing, but I could definitely see her coming in and taking back over as like CEO or whatever of WWE, which I think would be great. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. Anyways, so yeah, that's the news and the happenings.
The news.
We will, I guess, keep you posted on new developments. You know, you can listen to our podcast as we just basically sit here and Google stuff to give you the news. So, you know, great.
We do the searching so you don't have to.
Yeah, that's our new, that'll be our new tagline for the podcast. We Google it so you don't have to. Anyways, yeah, so stick around for the next episode of the Main Event Podcast, brought to you by the Press Play Podcast Network. And we'll see you later.
We'll see you.